Ladies and gents, today is TWAB Day, but not just any kind of TWAB Day. Oh no. This kind of TWAB Day focuses specifically on loot. And let me go and tell you guys something. I love to talk about loot in my looter shooters. So today's TWAB is mainly about loot, as well as a slew of quality of life changes that are going to be coming to the game. So before we do jump into it, if you guys do enjoy my content at all today or any day, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. When Season of the Splicer comes out, I plan on hitting content hard here on YouTube and Twitch, and I would love to have you along for the journey. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it, and let's talk about first the seasonal armor that we're going to be seeing in Season of the Splicer, because back during my previous video where we talked about Season of the Splicer's reveal, Bungie ended up showing us the universal ornaments, but not the legendary armor that came with the season, and this had me questioning a lot of things because I didn't even know if we were going to be getting it. Well, we are, and here's an image of it right here. Now, Bungie had this to say about the seasonal armor, and I'm absolutely in love with this, and I'll tell you guys why. They say previously you would earn this armor by leveling your season rank and unlocking new pieces on the seasonal track. Moving forward, seasonal armor will be earned from the seasonal activities. You'll also be able to guarantee pieces from these sets using focused umbral engrams. Season rank levels that once featured armor have been updated with packages of glimmer, shards, upgrade modules, engrams, cores, prisms, and etc. Universal armor ornaments will continue to be earned towards the end of the season pass. Now let me go ahead and tell you guys something. I'm in love with this. There was one thing that was always missing every single season, and that was the grind for new armor sets, right? I mean, we always ended up getting new armor from the season pass, but we never had to grind for it, because if you bought the season pass, you instantly got the full set on all of your characters at the beginning of a season, and what's the fun in that? I absolutely love collecting things in video games like this, and getting the full set, you know, in my collections and everything is always a fun thing for me. It's something that I always look forward to whenever it comes to the universal ornaments, and it's why I bounty grind so hard at the beginning of a season, because I want the new armor. Seeing Bungie kind of shift the focus of this armor instead of just giving it to us, shifting it to allow us to grind for it is very nice. It's just going to give me one more thing to do in the season, and I enjoy that. It gives me a reason to play the seasonal content more, and I think that's a really good thing. Now, speaking of armor, let's go ahead and move on over to weapons instead. Bungie ended up showcasing to us all of the Splicer weapons that we're going to be getting this season, and you know, here's the image that we saw previously. This is whenever they first announced the season. These weapons right here are going to be coming from the actual override mission that you can do, as well as umbral engrams, and then these right here are the season pass Splicer weapons that you'll be earning that go alongside these. So if you take into consideration how big the entire weapon set is, the entire weapon set is about 6 weapons, because on the top right we have the exotic stasis sidearm. So it's really cool to see that they're showcasing, you know, pretty much all of these weapons, and I'm very excited to get my hands on them. I absolutely love the aesthetic. I'm gonna be crushed on the inside if these weapons aren't absolute bangers gameplay wise, but design wise they remind me of Season of the Dawn. A lot of love and, you know, support went into the designs of these. I just love them. Gives me that classic Destiny 1 vibe on just how iconic they look to me at a first glance. Now, moving on from there, speaking of weapons, we also have the seasonal quest, like we had with Salvager Salvo, as well as the Adored Sniper Rifle. This time, we're getting a fusion rifle. It says outside of Override, there's even more legendary loot to claim. To start, you'll receive a new quest to earn the Null Composure Fusion Rifle. Once the weapon is unlocked, you can collect Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard themed weapon ornaments, just how we've been able to ever since Season of the Hunt. Moving on from there, we're getting even more playlist weapons. There's also going to be weapons joining the current slate of post-game rewards for Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard, and in total there will now be 12 legendary weapons to earn, 4 per activity. So it looks like we're going to be getting a grenade launcher for Vanguard, a submachine gun for Gambit, and what looks like a 120 Duke hand cannon for the Crucible. So very interesting stuff right there. I honestly wasn't expecting Bungie to end up fleshing out further into the playlist weapons, but I'm very glad that they are. Now, what I knew was coming was new Nightfall weapons, because of course we have the likes of Palindrome, Swarm, and Shadow Price. We knew that we were going to be getting 3 more, and one of these, well, I should go ahead and say 2 of these are looking to be absolute bangers. They say last season we ended up introducing Grandmaster weapons, and like last season, each weapon will be on a weekly rotation in the playlist. Upping the difficulty will give you a higher drop chance as you search for your desired roles, and starting on the 22nd of June, Grandmaster Nightfalls will become available, introducing adept versions of each weapon. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, yes, that is hung jury at the top left. Now, I have around 2,000 hours in Destiny 1. I can't recall the name of the fusion rifle, and I can't recall the name of the Amalon sniper. However, I remember using it back in the day, and if I recall correctly, this should be a lower fire rate, higher damage type sniper rifle. Being able to get an adept version of that sniper and the hung jury is going to make me big happy. I kind of wish we weren't going to be getting a fusion rifle, since it's already going to be the seasonal weapon, and chances are, as we've seen with seasonal weapons, Adored and Salvo are, you know, really top tier, honestly, let's be honest about it. And this fusion rifle, I just don't know if it's going to be competing as well with those weapons, but I am glad to see hung jury and a sniper rifle in the Nightfall playlist. Now, Bungie also has this to say about loot. They say, now here's the part where we say, and more. There are still more weapons left for you to discover as you play. Some of the best feelings in Destiny are those moments where you can uncover a sweet weapon with the perfect perk combination. Want an auto rifle that gains extra damage after feeding an enemy with a grenade? How about a sniper that's quick on the draw, but can also be rolled with Dragonfly? Every season invites interesting choices and new playstyles, and I'm sure the majority of the new weapons that we're going to be seeing are actually going to be coming from Vault of Glass. Now, with all the loot talked about, let's go ahead and move on over to the quality of life improvements that Bungie is basically talking about here in the TWAB. They talk about some new colorblind support that they're going to be adding, as well as some subclass tuning. So for the subclass tuning, Hunters, the freeze detonation from Silence and Squall has been reduced from 12 meters to 8.5 meters, and the enemy Squall now has a red ring to define the area as it approaches. For Titans, the Shiver Strike melee energy is now refunded when Glacial Quake ends, and they say that they fixed an issue in which players can trigger Whisper of Torment by standing in an opponent's barricade. And for Warlock, Shadebinder, the Bleak Watcher aspect will grant 2 fragment slots, and Chaos Reach finally is going to stop penetrating through walls and killing me around corners. One of the most frustrating things that has ever happened to me in PvP. Glad to see they're fixing it. Now they move on to talking about some things with our Ghost, which is Nav mode, and they give this video right here, and I'll go and put the text on the screen as well. They say that they separated bounties from the quest in the Nav mode. All bounties will now appear in Nav mode. They can no longer be tracked as a result. Category switching on keyboard and mouse can be controlled with the scroll wheel, and track triumphs now appear in its own Nav mode category. I would like to go ahead and say that I would really like us to be able to track seasonal challenges, which is something that we haven't been able to do. If they could just add that to the bucket list, would be very happy with these changes. They go on to talk about some UI stuff. Legends added to the Director Destination tab. This is where you'll find Vault of Glass in just a few weeks. They say that they have a shortcut between HUD quest step notifications and quest detail screen added for keyboard and mouse. And they say that 6v6 Crucible activities have an updated intro experience. Cycle through your teammates to view metrics associated with the activity you're entering. So that sounds very interesting for the PvP side of things. They also talk about the helm. The helm will now appear in the Director Destination tab, so they moved it away from the tower and it has its own area. And that focused Umbral engrams in the Recaster, Umbral engrams will now auto decrypt when focused, and the visual states for focusing options will kind of be streamlined to make things look not as ugly as they currently look. Now moving on from there, Bungie talked about Glory, Valor, and Infamy. Of course, these are the reputations with the Crucible and with Gambit, and this is in kind of preparation for whenever they introduce the Vanguard reputation, which unfortunately is coming in Season 15 instead of 14. They say that Glory, Valor, and Infamy reputations have had their internal systems rebuilt to be a unified implementation. In-game, players should expect minimal perceived changes. They unified Glory, Valor, and Infamy rank reputation tracking. Before Forsaken, Glory and Valor had only major ranks like Guardian, Brave, etc. After Forsaken, Glory and Valor gained sub-ranks like Brave 1, 2, and 3 alongside with Infamy. However, all the historical tracking like the lifetime ranks and quest usage still use the original ranks. Now the sub-ranks are referred to as just simple ranks, and all usage has been converted to use them when appropriate. Glory playlist will no longer block Valor win streaks from declining. The Valor badge now appears on the Trials launch screen. Infamy win bonus is now linear. The Glory win bonus is now linear. And they say that note, with the eventual update of the Vanguard reputation, players should be ready to spend their tokens during Season of the Splicer. Moving on from here, they talk talk about some Eververse quality of life stuff. So Eververse archive filtering. Players can now easily filter the offerings in the storefront archive tab. Per numerous community requests, we added many exotic weapons and armor ornaments from previous seasons to the archive tab. So they're starting to kind of flesh it out to allow you to get more stuff that you maybe haven't gotten yet. They also say for bright engrams that spawn effects and shaders are now standalone items in bright engrams. Bright engrams can also no longer decrypt into duplicates of these, and you'll also get a small amount of glimmer when decrypting these engrams. So you'll no longer be getting spawn effects and shaders as duplicates, meaning that you have a higher chance to actually get good stuff. Lastly, they say that momentum control and team scorched have returned, thank God, and they added repeatable bounties to Shalhan and the Crucible. They fixed an issue where vaulted gear would kind of drop from, strike unique loot list, and they said that they added a full suite of trace rifle focused armor mods to the game, which is very nice. Maybe we'll be seeing another one of those very soon. Now, lastly, one of the biggest quality of life changes is that they're actually giving people the options to transmog their glows of the 2018 and 2019 Solstice armor. I always thought that it was an absolute crime against humanity to not let these armors have their glow transmogged, because it was some of the best armor that Bungie's ever made for this game. Now, I don't have it, right? I do not have either of these armor sets, but man, I would have killed to get my hands on these back in the day because they look fantastic, and I'm glad that Bungie listened to the community on this one and finally ended up doing something pretty good with the transmog system. But guys, that is it for this video. That is everything that the TWAB covered, everything, pretty much notable from the, armor, from the weapons, as well as the quality of life changes that we'll be seeing very soon. But guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy this video at any point, please make sure to leave a like or subscribe to the channel, as I would love you very, very long time. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.